Welcome to another edition of the Fritz and Lola Show. Oh shoot, no, it's the Lola and Fritz Show. What are we doing today, Lola?
Well, Fritz, we are now doing part 2, off to Sturbridge, Massachusetts. After the FMCA convention, we went to Sturbridge, Massachusetts. That's about 45 minutes away from where we were.
So next we went to Sturbridge, Massachusetts, as Lola mentioned, or Fritz, that it was about 45 minutes away from West Springfield. So after all the hectic week of being at the FMCA convention, we were able to really sit back, a short drive, and then we were able to
kick back and relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really our very first time that we, got to sleep in a little bit, and
3 weeks in one spot. That was the first time. So that's the first time that we spent that long, and didn't have to worry about, doing anything, for the most part, the next day, or for worry about traveling anything for a long time.
It was interesting exploring the area as well. The fortunate thing was there was a Walmart close by, shopping center, movie theater, restaurants were around. So within about a 5-mile area, there was everything was convenient.
Yeah, if this was from a location point of view, I'd give it 5 stars.
Yeah.
But things to do with the dogs, hiking. Rail trails. We learned about rail trails and things like that. Trails that were old railroad beds, and we were able to, which is great for our old dogs.
Yes.
They're 9 years plus old, and so they don't take to hills and extensive hiking. So we can break it up into 2 and 3 mile hikes, and it's fairly level. And there was a ton of those around, so that was nice.
Which is really good.
We.
So let's talk a little bit about Sturbridge, Thousand Trails Encore a little bit. This is probably about the only negative thing that we'll say. When we arrived there was no one at the what is that, right there in the beginning, right in the front there, the office registration place. You had to talk through a walkie-talkie, and basically she basically indicated, come down, hang a left, and go into, I think it was D3 or D4 or something like that.
Some slot there.
So we're a 40-foot RV, and we have our toad behind us.
We disconnected.
Which is, exactly. But anyways, so we get there. There's somebody in front of us. So and this one person is continually telling everybody that comes in, go to the same slot that we were told. Apparently the people in front of us were told to go to the same place. So now you've got all these big RVs that are backed up in a very small area. This is an RV place that probably should not have anything longer than 30 feet in there. Granted, you can get in there if you're at 40 feet, but you're holding your breath as you're going around the corners. There's a lot of full-timers, not full-timers, but permanent seasonal sites there. They have all the best sites. That's the first thing. But they also have the bigger sites. And we've heard that they also have 2 slots that they have, and they pay for one site, and then they pay $100 extra for the other site. But that's neither here nor there. The fact that it's a small place, all in all. And
what I was going to say is that larger size of a lot is relative, because none of the lots, RV spaces, are very large at all. I mean, you open up both slide outs and you're just about touching
your neighbor.
Quite, but you're 4 or 5 feet apart from you're really crammed in there, which is something that you might expect in a city environment or something close to a metropolitan area, but you're out in the country here in Sturbridge, and you're just jam-packed together.
So we couldn't find a spot the first time because, like I said, all of us were told to go into the same D3 or D4 section. not even big enough for our RV to even fit into. So we were actually placed into the holding area for the first night, and that was probably about half a slice of a pie big. I'm not really sure what they expected. It was just shocking that was there.
We couldn't put out both our slides there because it was along the side of a road. You're halfway sticking out in the,
exactly.
in the little camp road there.
Exactly. So the next morning, we actually got a knock on our door from the lady that we were dealing with after she was the one that took us around a little bit to show us the different sites. And anyways, she told us that somebody had just pulled out, and the great thing was it was actually a pull through. Didn't make any difference, but for us it was perfect. It was the perfect length, and our RV fit right in there. Literally about a half an hour later, somebody came in, and that was still early in the morning, and they thought they had our site as well, but
well, plus our neighbor had been promised that site, and he was thinking about moving over there. So there's no organization, there's no assignment of a lot. I mean, people just move around if they feel like it.
Exactly.
And then they assign the same slot to different people, and so it's like. So I mean, the staff in general, most of the people who are actually working there are very, very friendly and very helpful to try to work things out. But you're really camped together. The facilities are very run down. Went into there's an indoor pool, but it's extremely musty, and there's a ton of kids there. Laundry room is attached to that, so it's all that steam and moldy. Just you go to the bathrooms, in the main bathrooms, the facility there, very moldy and
very dirty.
Very dirty. The toilets there were disgusting, and they weren't clean for about 2 or 3 days there. So definitely not what I would consider up to standards, or what you usually see at 1,000 Trails
Encore facility. Yeah.
Facility. So, but anyways, while we were there in Sturbridge, what I mentioned before is that location. So we went first to Wells State Park.
Oh yeah.
And that was a pretty nice park. The only downside is, we look for someplace to walk the dog. So we're looking at being there for a couple of hours, and it's $6 to get in, and for non-Massachusetts residents, $5 for Massachusetts resident. If you have kids that are biking, dirt biking or something like that, it'd be a great place. A lot of dirt bike trails and stuff like that. But for us, it was a little expensive for what we would want. And so the next day we found
the rail trails.
The rail trails, yeah, blast.
They were fabulous, and it was, like Jeff mentioned before, they were very level. A gradual hill here and there, but for the most part, very level. And I think we got in like 2.5 miles the first day, exhausted the dogs completely.
Yeah.
Poor things. So we ended up giving them a break, I think, the next day.
Yeah, it was actually a city park in Southbridge that we decided to just try, and it ended up being part of this whole rail system.
Yeah.
And so that was a blast. So if you want more information on that, go take a look at our blog. The link is down below. And we've got a lot of different, we have a couple of blog entries on the rail trails that we did in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Then the other thing we did right next to us was another great place to walk. We didn't take long walks there, but it was a good place to give the dogs a little bit more exercise before we go to bed or something like that.
Yeah. So there was a gravel pit there, and
Breakneck Brook, a gravel pit along Breakneck Brook.
It's beautiful. I mean, it was huge. There was 2 sections to it, and what they did is actually dug out sand, and there was, I think they had some not blue marble, but some kind of blue rock that they actually ended up cutting into little blocks, and for driveways or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was just nice. It was nice we kind of had to sneak around a little bit
Yeah,
through the forest.
Lots of other things to look at too. There was a hill, Leadmine Hill, and that was where back in the 1600s, before the colonists came over, the Indians used the graphite to color use face paint and stuff like that, and then then it was used for making pencils for writing instruments back in the 1600s, and so it was neat to go up there and see the mine there, and then I spent an afternoon at the American Optical Company, which started off in the mid 1800s. And because of the high price of, it was the first optical company, eyeglass company in the United States. Before that, before like 1830 or 1835, everything came from Europe. And by 1905, they actually opened up headquarters in London to export American eyeglasses, and they had over 2,000 employees in 1905 there at Southbridge, Massachusetts. They still make the number one maker of premier pilot glasses. So that was pretty cool to go through that. Most of the facility now is closed down. I think they probably do most of their manufacturing overseas. But you can see late 1800 and early 1900 brick manufacturing buildings and things like that. So since we were there for 3 weeks, we continued to explore the different sections of the Grand Trunk Railroad, and it was fun. There were some sections that were a little bit too long to take the dogs on. I think Jeff and I would have liked to have continued walking, but you have to take into consideration our dogs are 9+ years old, and we want to keep them around a little bit longer and not not exhaust them completely. Then there were some sections that were short, and as long as there was water around and we could get access to it, boy, I tell you, two of our dogs were just ecstatic about that, because they could swim around very, in a short area, but they could cool off and get a drink. So it was pretty neat, because it was a railroad that was built in the very early 1900s, 1910, I think is about as where it was. And it was to connect Montreal to a deep water port, Providence, Rhode Island, and so the railroad that was going through Montreal and the New England states didn't have a deep water port that they could use all year round, and the main proponent of that railroad actually died when the Titanic sank. He was on the Titanic, and so there was some efforts after that to finish it out, but it never did. So it was never a completed working railroad. And then in the 1960s, they built a series of dams along there, and then about 1990 or thereabouts, they decided to convert some of the rail beds to walking trails. And so the combination, it was a nice set of walking trails that we gradually would walk more along, and that taught it taught us to look. One of the first things we look for in an area is rail trails. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like Jeff said, it's been a lot of fun. There was one place actually, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was a throughway that they used in colonial times.
Yep.
And you would actually get taxed. A turnpike, yes, and you would actually have to pay the toll.
Yeah.
At each one of them, and when we finally were walking on it, it was nothing but a wide mowed stretch of meadow
by fields, yeah,
by farming fields. But it was just so interesting and just so peaceful, and just it was nice. I mean, we've really got to explore some of the neat things and see so much history in such a small area. Things that you don't even think about.
Well, yeah, you don't think about individual people maintaining these small sections of roads themselves,
Yeah.
and charging people because they are the ones that keep it clear and keep it open for their wagons and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's all. And fortunately, there's lots of plaques and historical markers that follow these routes around, so you can learn more stuff about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So very fascinating. So all in all, though, I think we had a great time in Sturbridge.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't think we'd actually go back to the Sturbridge Encore Thousand Trails place.
Only if we had to because of location.
Yes, but that would be, somebody would really have to twist our arm. The one thing I did not mention was the Wi-Fi there was horrible. And I am actually...
Most of the time it didn't work at all. I mean, horrible doesn't mean just slow. I mean, it does not work. And then the support, they just said that, well, yeah, that's old equipment. And so, someday it'll probably get upgraded.
So the one thing I have done is actually been in contact with Thousand Trails Encore, and I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing, but I made them aware of our dissatisfaction of that particular site. So we'll see. Yep.
So for more details, take a look at our blog. And for our day-to-day activities, you can find us on Facebook, RV Built for Two. RVBuiltfor2.com. Trippin Engles.
Yep. Bye.
What are we doing today, Lola? Okay, let's see what we can do here. I am trying to wink. Let me try it there. Oh, there, almost did it. Okay, the other side. Okay, I can almost blink here. Maybe I'll turn the blink down a little bit. Okay, let's see. You got the eyebrows all set a little bit. No, I'm... Okay, I think we're ready. No. Gotta make sure my voice is ready. Oh, crap. This is probably something for the outtakes. Okay. Ready? Oh, geez, Lola. Come on, are you ready yet? Okay.
Well, Fritz, we are now off.